Okay, so I have this vortex that is just, I'm drawing from it. I'm in it, and I have manifestations that come from this vortex all the time.
Yes.
And I know that there are fabulous things still in this vortex that I am not yet seeing in physical form.
And how do you get ready for them? By using any excuse in the world you can to be happy, and by not trying to scrutinize the vortex to understand the mysteries of it. What's in there?
Oh, I know what's in there.
And why aren't you coming out?
Like in this vortex, I've written multiple books that were published. In this vortex, I have artwork that has been beautifully created and admired and appreciated and valued by other people.
Now wait, because you're misinterpreting the vortex. So step back just a little bit and go really general. In this vortex is my powerful intention to be joyfully of value to this world.
Yes.
Now, so then when those ideas occur to you, that means you were in the receptive mode of the vortex. But now, by the time you're saying, I want to write multiple books, now you have received from the vortex, and in your receiving mode, you've received that. Now you just want to joyfully keep those thoughts to the degree that they have hatched alive by not contradicting them, by looking for evidence of it. We call this the receiving mode, or the art of allowing, not the art of making it happen, or the figuring out how, where, when, who. That freedom, growth, and joy thing that you talked about, that triad of intentions that we've talked about for a very long time, the basis of your life is absolute freedom. You're so free that you can choose bondage. The quest, the goal, what you came for is that joyous, receptive mode, in the moment, delicious awareness of life unfolding. And the result of that, the result of all of it, is all of this expansion. But sometimes people, and we can feel it in you, it's in almost everyone, you get that triad of intentions just a little lopsided, and you're on the growth end of it. Growth, growth, growth. And that's when you said, I know what's in the vortex. That was that growth emphasis that's in you. There are all of these books that I mean to write. That's that growth leg. And we want you to just put all of the emphasis, not just most of it, all of the emphasis on the joy of it. The joy of understanding, the joy of knowing about the vortex, the joy of writing the book, the joy of receiving the book, the joy of concepts unfolding within you, the joy of the details of life, even the joy of the clarifying contrast. Can you feel just the slight distinction that we're making here? Because you are emphasizing to us with your words, your state of joy, and we believe you. We can feel it. But there's also a state of frustration as you are wanting to accomplish your vortex. That's what it is. You're wanting to accomplish your vortex, and we want you to allow your vortex to accomplish. Your vortex is accomplished. You accomplished your vortex without even knowing you did. And you can accomplish the receiving mode by looking for joyful thoughts without trying to dissect the vortex, get in there and get that book, wring its neck, and bring it out here for the world to see. Can you feel what we're getting at just a little bit?
Yes, I think so. So when we talk about then putting things into the vortex.
Let's say it different. When we talk about the natural evolution of my vortex, of course you put it there. But those are the rudimentary understandings that we're wanting to give you. In other words, your vortex has come about because of all of the living that you've been living. And it far exceeds its manifested version.
You mean what I already have manifested?
Yeah, we mean there's so much potential for joyous witnessing, to get to witness the results of what you've put there. And now you're tuning yourself to allow yourself to witness what's there. Because you said, I know what's there. But you can feel the frustration that you've not yet witnessed it. But that frustration about not yet witnessing what you know is there is the thing that slows it all down. And that's what you help us to demonstrate here in a really wonderful way.
Well, thank you. Okay.
Trying too hard, too much effort.
I've been in this seat before, and I asked no questions. And I've listened to that tape multiple times thinking, oh my gosh, I asked no questions. I just sat there and talked and gave you the opportunity to provide information. We talked about step 5. So I told him.
It may seem like that, but you never stop asking. None of you ever stop asking. And Source never stops answering. Just because there are no words being exchanged doesn't mean that there's a huge amount of asking and answering going on. Most of what you come to know doesn't even come through a dialogue like this. You just live life, and the understanding comes to you through the way life unfolds. But when you and we put some words behind what you've been living and feeling, then there is an understanding, then there's a solidifying of knowing, which for the most part its only benefit is that then you get to consciously witness the unfolding. Your life is unfolding in exact relationship to what your vibrational output is all the time. But to vibrate consciously, to broadcast consciously, and then to witness the universal response to your conscious broadcasting, that's what you came for.
Oh, and it's fabulous.
Yeah.
So for example, my mother lent me her convertible to drive in the fall, and I forget why I had this experience, but I did. And I remember driving around in that thinking, oh, this is fabulous to have the wind blowing through your hair and the sunshine on your shoulders. And I just loved the freedom of the whole experience. I did not intend to own my mother's convertible. And yet in December, she gave it to me. And I thought that was fabulous, of course. And then my daughter was rear-ended.
So let's dissect that just a little bit
Okay.
in light of what you're feeling and what you were asking before. So that's what we meant earlier when we said what's in your vortex is much more general than it is specific. So you weren't intending for that convertible to be given to you, but what was in your vortex was that feeling of freedom, that feeling of joy, that feeling of sunshine on your body. All that was in your vortex. And so since it was all in your vortex and you were in the receiving mode enough to receive that, then even more specifics about that unfolded into your life experience, just like the books that you're talking about. So much in your vortex that you're, for whatever reason, not ready to articulate that you care about or that you want.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how do I become a more cooperative component to all that is in my vortex that is not yet manifested?
By not worrying about what you're not ready for. Your question is, how can I get ready for what I'm not ready for? And we say that question makes you less ready than you were before. Because it's focused on what you're not ready for. By acknowledging what you are ready for, by reveling in what is coming, by saying things like, and just like that convertible that I didn't even know the specifics of desire, I just knew the essence of what I loved about it. There are all kinds of specifics that will exactly answer essence of desire, but humans are so ready to go for the specifics instead of keep active the essence of the desire that they want to see it, hear it, smell it, taste, and touch it rather than feel it. You didn't do that relative to that. And look how it unfolded. That's why when we say to you, let the universe surprise and delight you, and you might think, oh, I thought you said I was a deliberate creator. How can I be surprised if I'm the deliberate creator of my own reality? And we say, because you have set forth this general tone of how you want to feel, and the universe will find endless ways to support that essence that your vortex has established. Ooh. But when you become more specific than your vibrational practice allows you to be, then you get frustrated. That's why we say, if you could just be happy about being happy and not need an explanation about why you're happy. Your friend sees you, how are you? I'm so happy. Why? What? Why are you so happy? And then you start feeling the need to justify your happiness instead of just accept the naturalness of it. I'm happy because I'm not doing anything to mess it up. That's why. I haven't complained to anybody today. I haven't criticized anybody today. I haven't beat up on myself. I haven't worried about anything today. I haven't poked around in things that aren't any of my business. I didn't get on Facebook, or we like to call it Nosebook. I didn't get on Nosebook today.
Okay, so are you saying...
Yes.
Are you saying then that even though I feel like I have specific desires, I should still just be general in my wanting for freedom, growth, and joy?
We're not only saying that, but if there are specific desires that feel sluggish and aren't showing themselves to you, that's the reason. And if you'll go back to the general essence of them, which you can accomplish right away, then you'll stop blocking. It comes back into this thing, and we know you don't think you're doing it, but it comes back to this first thing that we talked about of wanting something and noticing that it hasn't come into manifestation yet. And just that notice adds enough resistance to it that you don't let yourself get into the receptive mode of it. So stepping back into a more general place of why you want it. And you gave us the best answer to this question that could have ever been given to you. You said, I didn't even know I wanted the convertible. I didn't know I wanted it because I didn't know specifically how good it would feel. I didn't know that it would inflame my sense of freedom. I didn't know that it would put me sensually in touch with my environment. I didn't know how visceral my environment around me was going to feel. I knew that I wanted to feel good. I knew I wanted all of those things, but it wasn't until I was able to actually translate the vibration into that I knew that I wanted it, you see. It was just offered to me. You don't have to own anything to have the universe yield everything to you. She didn't have to give it to you. She could have just kept loaning it to you.
I know.
But it was a perfect thing because she was done with it. Messed up her hair. She was tired of smelling things.
She wasn't, well, she didn't feel like she was done with it, but she couldn't keep it because she couldn't comfortably get in and out of it any longer. So she said.
The universe just works things out in such a nice way. That's the cooperative components. That's the way everything works. This vortex knows who's ready for the convertible and who's done with it. And it's all managed at this precise, knowing basis.
Yeah, I see this happening over and over in my world.
Yes.
So even since the convertible came to be part of our experience, my daughter was rear-ended by a hit-and-run driver in a different car that had 230,000 miles on it. It then opened the door for me to get the other car that I'd had my eye on, which was a Kia Soul. I love the name of it. I think it's just fabulous. I know that sounds funny, but I just wanted that. And that's where I had this graphic of these wildcat stripes put down the side of the car and this claw mark on the back. So I drive around, when I'm not in a convertible with the wind blowing through my hair, I'm driving around in this car that has this wildcat imagery on it. And it's like a manifestation of the next phase that I am consciously moving into. So I love it. It just feels so fabulous. And people would say, oh, she got rear-ended, how awful. And I thought, path of least resistance. That was okay. It was okay. And so life unfolds in this kind of way for me regularly. But I'm interested in the next phase. And so what I hear you saying is, don't worry about it. Just go out and be free.
We appreciate so much the two examples that you've offered here, because this is how most humans live. In the first example, you were basking in the deliciousness of something and the universe yielded it to you. In the other example, something a little uncomfortable happened and the universe yielded to you. And all of it is good, because in contrast there is always value and things are always working out. But the distinction that we want to make in all of this is that as you, and you are, a lot of you are, as you get frequently into the receiving mode, hear this, not for the reason of receiving something, but because that's your natural state of being, that's where you feel the best, then you allow yourself to be the receiver with less consternation, less effort, less struggle, and less contrast. Things are always working out for you. What we want to emphasize here is that in contrast, there is always value, because in contrast, there is a launching of rockets forward.